See, Reverse Flash messed up. He tried. He thought killing his mother was going to be the point that stops him from being the Flash when he was already the Flash before the lightning bolt ever hit him. All right, welcome back to the Multi-Tap. My name is Leeboy, and I'm chilling here with the self-proclaimed King of Games, Cruja. And on today's agenda, we're going to be talking about The Flash. The TV show that's been on the CW series for 9 seasons has officially come to an end May the 24th, 2023, led by Grant Gustin, Tom Cavanaugh, Candace Patton, and a bunch of other characters on the show and actors. Man, what a show. First of all, before I get into, how I feel about it, 9 seasons. What was your take from it?
So I thought the Flash was fantastic. I liked him as a hero, but I was never fully into the Flash. 'Cause I was more of a Batman character outside of the little things that you told me. And I seen a comic book one time of him building an entire bridge within like 2 panels. So that was pretty cool. So seeing him on the big screen was good, especially because I was following Arrow, and he came from the Arrowverse essentially. And the way they did it to me was just a fantastic thing, and that was like the very beginning of the connected universes when it came to the DC TV shows. And I just thought that the Flash was done. I actually think it was done better than Arrow, believe it or not. Just the way it was done, and while Arrow had the darker story in the very beginning, I think that it started to fall flat. Whereas in the Flash was more fleshed out. It seemed like they had a little bit more time developing the story for the long run. I fell off with the Flash probably around season 3 or 4, and to me that was because they had this thing, and you're gonna if you're fans of multi-tap, you're gonna hear this: villain problems. They always were fighting a speedster, and I was like, can we do something different? He has a whole rogues gallery of villains, and they only gave partially some of those rogue galleries, like an episode here, an episode there. I think the person that got it the most burn was Heatwave and Captain Cold. Outside of that, but like you could have did a lot more. So I guess that's when I fell off. And then I was also having a kid at the time, so that was more reason to not have any time to dedicate towards a TV show. But I thought it was fantastic. I think Grant Gustin is Flash. Period. I think he's better than anything that we got right now, to be honest with you. And you've heard that from us before.
Just to piggyback on that, when it came down to the villain problem, I agree with you. But I feel like here was the problem that leads into the show's downfall from the start. The villain problem, yes, but here's where they messed up at. The Flash TV show and Arrow, I said same, and most CW shows fell into the Smallville trap. And the Smallville trap was the villain of the week.
Mm-hmm.
They made villains that took comic book series for them to beat. They beat them in one episode. And they took the main villain that they would have as the overarching villain, be this villain who, he's the villain of the overall storyline. But here, all of these filler episodes before you reach the end boss. And I think that was wrong. They shouldn't have done that. She had the one villain, and he's the villain throughout the entire season. Everything connects back to him. They didn't do that. Every episode, the Flash fought a new villain, and you knew he was going to beat him because, come on, it was the
Flash.
villain of the week. Every week, next week, there's another villain. It shouldn't run like that. You got an hour to tell a story. It feels rushed, and they did that wrong with Arrow. The same thing. Every week, he had a new villain, and it was like, okay, you mean to tell me you could have told a real good story? Like you said, you brought up Heatwave and Captain Cold. They could have done a whole story arc with that.
Yeah,
a whole story arc.
They could have even dedicated like one season to the Rose Gallery that he has. The where they have Mirror Master and they have Top and they have Captain Cold. They could have what they could have did is they could have did a villain of the week for each of those, and then had a bigger story for them with them getting together because they got defeated so easy as an individual, and then that could have been a whole season in itself, 2 seasons in itself. They just followed a formula.
And they drained. And to me, I think they wore out the actors. CW loves doing that. They love giving you 20-something episodes when Netflix and a whole bunch of other streaming services have shown, and Game of Thrones, shorten the episodes. Give it like 10. You don't have to have so much filler. You don't have to go off the top of the head, like, damn, we done went through 24 episodes. We're running out of villains. Like, what? And they keep bringing back the same people. Like, you don't have to do that.
Well, they do that because of the business model. So, because Netflix banks on subscriptions, they bank off of ad revenue, and so if you have
I know. I'm just saying, if you're trying to make, I get that because I totally understand it. But I'm saying if you're trying to produce just a good overall show, expanding the show because of revenue, right? Mm-hmm. But you're decreasing, you're adding
value.
You're adding quantity over quality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just put it like that because I'm getting long-winded now. The way they treated the character. Let me go into the main character. Let me get to Barry Allen and who he is as a character. I've said this many a times on Lee's Final Word that he's an amalgamation, of the Ginger Wally West and the old school Barry Allen smashed
TV
together.
Series is a mix-up between Barry Allen and Wally West. Both characters blended together to make the Barry Allen you see on the TV show.
To make this character that we had on CW. They changed a lot of things. Iris was originally a white woman, but they made her black. Wally was originally this Wally was, gingerhead, but they made him black because they were catching up to the 52. A lot of this Flash borrowed a lot of stuff from the new 52, like where they changed Wally to be black. And instead of being Iris's nephew, she is his brother.
Right.
So those are the changes of, and Joe, of course, with Iris, father. Those were the changes that they've done in the show. But overall, they did justice to the character. Overall, like even with the changes, even with the changes that might upset certain people, but especially me being a big Flash fan, I accepted the show for what it was. I accepted that his suit looked like trash when it first happened.
Yeah, when it first came out, it was like a pin.
He had like slippers or shoes on running, and I was like, "What? You got my guy out here looking crazy," And what I will say, and this is the biggest feature I will say right here as we get into talking about the Flash, is they brought awareness to a character who people treated like he was a secondary dude, like he can't hold a candle to them other guys, and unless they really are into the character as one of those upper echelon DC characters, he just runs fast, and then it makes it no better. But Quicksilver, and it's like DC, because of their position as a company and where Marvel is at, people look at Quicksilver and people be like, "Oh, Quicksilver faster," and I'd be like, "You gotta be kidding me! Have you not read a Flash comic book? You obviously out of your mind if you think Quicksilver is faster than the Flash." Okay. And with that being said, this TV show, getting back to it, it put this character in a whole nother light and showed people what he can actually do with speed. Speed is not just moving fast. Speed deals with time. Speed deals with kinetics. It deals with so many things that's more than just how fast something can move. You know what I mean? You can heat stuff up with speed. You could slow, right? Moving slow is a speed. It may not be like normal pace is a speed, fast is a speed. There's all types of speed, but it's a speed nonetheless. How that could be manipulated, how that could be taken from you. Take this character who everybody thought was, somewhere around Aquaman level, where Aquaman was known for having nuclear heat. We talking he mating with fishes. He talked to fish. That's all he do. He swim fast. That's it. Not knowing that he has super strength. The water makes him, pretty much like a Namor kind of thing, in that he can get busy outside of land. Like he has super strength. You know what I'm saying? He has this big trident. It's just the fact that when water is his element. So when he's in water, he's even strong. Not saying he's even stronger in water, but I'm saying that he uses the ocean and water as part of, that, like, that's his land. Like I can stick with you on land, but you don't want to see me in water. That's all it was. But everybody saw it as he just water. Your body.
I think did a decent job of like retconning a lot of these superheroes into what the mainstream form is. The old Justice League cartoons.
Yes,
I think it brought to light a lot of, like, I think it helped fix Aquaman. One of my favorite, the thing that put Flash on the radar for me was there was a scenario where you had what's his name, Orion, was going around, and he was like, why is the Flash acting like an idiot? Come and find out, Flash was just taking care of his villains because his villains are all mentally challenged. He was like, I see now you play the role of the fool, but you're really the hurtful warrior, right? And so I remember those vividly. Those cartoons were very, very good, and they retconned a lot of these into mainstream media today.
Yeah, the Justice League TV show did a lot for the character Flash. I will say that as well. But this TV show here, 9 seasons of a live action Flash show, I never thought I'd see this again. Since the 90s when John Wesley Shipp played the Flash on NBC. And at that time, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, at that time, I didn't know anything about the Flash. I saw the TV show and I saw the suit, and I'm like, I saw it, and I saw the Flash before, because before the Flash, my dude was Spider-Man.
Right.
And I saw the suit, and I'm not gonna lie, people may go, you saw the TV show and thought that like that was cool. And I'm like, I thought that shit was fire.
Back in the day, it was good. You know?
But they had it in the wrong time slot, so it didn't get a lot of praise and a lot of shine for the time slot that it was in. And then I started doing more research into, as a kid, looking more and more into the Flash, and I started to like the character more and more. My favorite color is red, and I like the design, the whole the wing ears like that. You know, the whole get up was just dope to me. And I'm like, whoa, and this dude got a TV show? I was blown away. And ever since then, Flash fan. I need to know everything about the Flash. And to have years later go by and they do the Arrowverse, because big props to the Arrowverse, big ups to them, Stephen Amell and all of them who did a great show. They did a spinoff. They did so well with Arrowverse. They said, let's spin it off. Brought in the Flash. And I was hoping that they did it. Because at first it wasn't like they may not pick it up. And I'm like, because that's what they do. They normally would hint at certain things. Like, you know, is it a possibility to do it? And when they were like, all right, I bet we're moving forward to do the Flash. And I was like, oh, man. Then I saw Grant Gustin, and at first I had my reserved opinion about it. I said, I'm gonna wait. I'm a reserved judgment. I'm wait. Saw that suit, I was like,
because I remember your biggest complaint was that he was Barry, but his personality wasn't Barry. His personality was more like Wally.
He was more the Grant Gustin's version, like I said, is a mix between the two. And I noticed that they do that a lot. They want the Wally West Flash, but they'll change his name to Barry Allen. You know, the way the character acts. And I'm like, don't do that. Because now you're confusing people, because you're trying to appease me by calling him. No, you're trying to appease older fans who grew up with Barry by keeping the name Barry, and you're trying to appease me by keeping the personality traits of Wally West. Same thing with Ezra Miller.
They did it in the Flashpoint cartoon as well. The Flashpoint cartoon, I think, is the same thing.
Yeah. The new Flash movie, because Ezra Miller, that's not the Barry Allen. That's Wally West. I mean, yeah, they're trying to be Wally West.
Yeah.
You know, but and if anybody, you know, that's a big discussion. I mean, you'd have to be a Flash fan to understand what I'm saying, as far as personality wise. Now, if you like that they mixed and smashed them together, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But it has to be done right. And this is where Grant Gustin comes into play. He does it right. He's able to be just enough serious to be Barry. He does just enough jokes to be a little bit of Wally. So he does it. He did great. He did a great job. Great job in conveying the whole story of why he became a speedster, why he is the way he is. And he contributes a lot of that to, you know, Stephen Amell's character, Arrow, Joe. See, Reverse Flash messed up. He thought killing his mother was going to be the point that stops him from being the Flash, when he was already the Flash before the lightning bolt ever hit him.
Right.
He was developing character traits that was going to make him become the superhero in the first place. He thought his nurturing mother was going to be the reason why he became the Flash. He don't know that if he would have let her live, he would have never became the Flash. Because he wouldn't have grew up around a police officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joe was a police officer.
Yep.
He would have never had the ambition to want to be a cop, a forensic cop, to figure out his mother's murder.
Right. He wouldn't have been in that place to get the lightning bolt.
And he would never been. So, in all technicalities, killing his mother was the worst thing he could have ever done.
Yeah.
The worst thing he could have ever done, because he would have never met Green Arrow. they all molded him to be the Flash before the lightning bolt ever hit him.
Yep.
Because instead of taking that speed and becoming evil with it and doing bad things with it, he used it to become a superhero and save people. And that right there just carries a whole bunch of sentiment with me. You know, I'm a real sentimental guy when it comes to that point of the Flash and how the character itself was presented to people. And I thought that was beautifully done. Now, with that all being said, giving it this praise, the last episode. Let's talk about that.
Oh, how did you like the last episode?
I appreciate the CW for the show in general. That's the reason why I won't get on here and rant the way I want to about how bad I didn't like the last episode. But I will say this again, they've done just by having, if the show would have ended after season 3, I'd have been happy. Not really, I'm lying. But if it would have ended at season 3, I'd have been like, well, you know what? We told the best story we could. Mm-hmm. People liked it, they loved it. People were like, damn, why they didn't continue? But they ended it on a high note. They would have, you know what I'm saying? I'd have been like, man, this ending here was not good. This ending here was like a regular episode. They truly did this in such a regular episode way that I understand. Like, for example, we had Savitar, we had Reverse Flash, Savitar, Zoom, and Godspeed. Am I missing anybody? Oh, and Edward Thawne, Iris's boyfriend, who was related to the Reverse Flash, who sacrificed himself in the first season, finally shows up after 9 seasons, becomes a supervillain at the end, bringing all these guys together, and they have a 15 to 20 minute fight.
That's crazy. That sounds like something that should have been the whole season.
And they get washed, bro, in about 30 minutes. It took the first 30 minutes of the show is just all of that coming together, and they beat these guys who were literally the main villain for almost certain seasons.
Let me ask you a question. Was this?
And then hold on. And then the last 30 minutes of the show, it's about Iris delivering the baby.
Wow.
And the last 30 minutes while she's delivering the baby, at the end, his gift to the world was that other people should be granted speed. So what he does is he throws, I don't know if the shit hit the multiverse, he threw a lightning bolt into the Speed Force, and then the lightning bolt hit different people. It hit 3 people. Now I understand that these 3 people are speedsters in the whole overall arching story of the Flash, but it's like, and it's the end of the show, and these guys ain't gonna never make an appearance on the show. You threw that out there for what? Just to say, oh, these are the characters we were gonna have on the show, but we didn't get time to. So here's this character, that character, and this character.
How would you do it?
How would I end it? The Flash TV show? Man, you got me on the spot here. All right, I'm gonna try something. There's a newspaper article. It says a crisis happens, right? And he gets thrown into and never shows up. Like, he just doesn't show up. I would have had that happen at the end of the show. If he's gonna say goodbye and the TV show is not coming back, I would have done it that way. I would have had that article play out the way it's supposed to play out. I'd have had it where the Flash had to run into he had to sacrifice himself, go into the crisis, and end the show that way. You know what I mean? And on top of that, I would have, at the end, when he goes in and he says goodbye to everybody, and he goes into the Speed Force, whatever the case may be, and they do that whole Flash thing that pops up, and then they do, like, sometimes they have it where it's like a post-ending credit joint. I'd had that come back up, and it would have been in the future, right? You had future Iris standing with her daughter and her brother, whatever the case may be, and then he pops up, boom, and he goes, what do I miss? And then it ends. You know what I'm saying? So that way, at least you know he's alive, he's not dead, you know, he comes back, you know. Or, want to hear my ultimate ending?
Yeah.
My ultimate ending is this. Same concept. He goes, completes the thing, it ends. The TV show ends the way it started, with the newspaper clip saying that he goes into the Speed Force. There's a crisis and Flash vanishes. You end the show purposely, right? You end the show, and you tell everybody to go check out the Flash movie. Bro,
and then you
bro,
do what we talked about
what you
before.
think? What you think? People, the internet would have blew up, bro. I'm trying not to curse. The internet would have lost its mind. They'd have watched the entire episode for them to say, "Go watch the Flash movie." Now, one would look at it as, oh, somebody would be mad, like, yo, they're trying to pump the Flash. They're in this show to pump that movie. But it's not that. I would have ended it that way purposely to let you know that he's making a cameo appearance in the movie, or he's gonna be in the movie. He has some kind of connection to the movie. Because then you would end the show, right, from the movie. The movie is gonna give you your ending for the show.
Right.
You understand? You get what I'm saying? Like the movie is gonna continue. That part is gonna continue. Like you have it where the movie, you're watching the movie. Next thing you know, imagine a movie theater. People that are fans of the Flash, they're watching Ezra Miller, he's fighting and all this stuff, and they can't beat the villain, whoever the villain is, right? And then out of the Speed Force comes Grant Gustin. Bro.
Well, what's funny about this is that I think if rumors are correct, there's 2 Ezra Millers in the movie.
Yes,
so you had the opportunity to have.
Spoiler alert! Hold on, spoiler alert! People that may not want, you may want to turn away.
I don't know how true
spoiler territory. I'm just putting that out there.
No, I don't know how true it is. I haven't read anything else, but if that is true, if
Rumor.
there is the rumors,
accusation.
If there is 2 Ezras in the movie, you could have easily had Grant Gustin in there.
Well, again, here's the rumor, and if spoiler, if you don't know, if the people that's not following it the way it is, I'm gonna turn away now. Is they're saying that the movie is about he does a flashpoint, right? He meets himself in the past, or whatever the case may be. That the person that he's meeting is not really him. It's the Reverse Flash. They're saying that the giveaway is that when he met him, he's wearing yellow, like his colors is that of the Reverse Flash. They're saying that if you watch the trailer, there is or that Barry may turn into the negative Flash, because you see there's a version of the Flash wearing a black suit, like his suit is black, you know. And again, who knows? I've heard that Grant Gustin said that they haven't invited him to the movie. They haven't invited him. He has gotten no phone calls about it.
Right.
But I would say, if they do it right, I mean, just do it right. Just do this shit right. I'm hoping that he's lying to us the same way that when they was asking about the rumors for Andrew Garfield and McGuire about, yo, we heard you guys are in the movie. And they were like, nah, we're not in the movie. I want to see Grant Gustin pop up in this film. And here's the part that kind of makes me upset, because it's like, you know how good Grant Gustin is when you know how bad the other character is, that the other character showed up on his show. Yep. You promoted your character, your Flash, on our TV show. We didn't need you.
Yeah.
While you guys were having your real life crisis of a bad movie called The Justice League, we were killing it. We were killing it. The Josh Whedon Justice League, man. Josh Whedon.
It's such a different movie.
He's such a different person. I mean, yeah. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What happened to you, Josh? Anyway, they were killing it. I tell everybody, watch the CW Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover where Oliver gets his Spectre powers and he dies, which officially ends his Green Arrow run. Way better. Yo, the crossovers, he's dead now. Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, was Batman finally. Okay, like he played the Batman from Batman Beyond because he's older, so they gave him that role. But come on, man, they referenced Michael Keaton's Batman. They did all kind of they were pulling all kind of strings to get that crossover done the right way. Teen Titans was involved in small capacity. Listen, that Crisis on Infinite Earths for CW was better than the Justice League movie. Well, better than Josh Whedon's version of the Justice League. That Snyderverse joint is tough.
That was yeah. The Snyderverse joint was.
Now let me say this. Let me add on this little caveat. So we're talking about the Flash and the CW universe. If the Justice League, if the Flash TV show crossover, Crisis on Infinite Earths, and all that had the same budget as the movie, they would have made a way better film. Hands down, it would have been a better film. Hands down. They even had this guy from Smallville. The Smallville Superman showed up. Who met the new Superman? It was, oh my gosh.
They run into the same problems. I don't know why, Marvel had this problem too when it came to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wound up being phenomenal after the first half of the first season. They just never connected with the movies for whatever reason. I never understood that because you had a fan base here for The Flash. You also had an established Green Arrow character that you could have brought into the Justice League. And imagine Stephen Amell's Arrow going with Batman and having to listen to Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, and then those two colliding and bumping heads because they should do it this way or we should do it this way, and it could have even been a point where, because Ben Affleck's Batman killed, right? So imagine the Green Arrow saying, look, I've been down this road. We should stop that. And then that would have gave you more of a reason to have Batman kill. And then Batman could look back and say, you know what? I can do this better too. Right. And it would have gave more character to the Arrow. And, Batman could be humbled every once in a while. He doesn't need to be the top dog all the time. And you could have done something like that. And I think the fans would have appreciated that because you had these two established characters and it would have been fantastic.
Bro, that's a great idea because they both tragically lost their parents. His father, now mind you sitting there, your father literally died from someone in an alley who robbed him, and it wasn't even on me because they handed over the here, take this, and he still got killed. My pops straight up capped himself to save me. Okay, and I didn't go to I didn't go to a place to learn my abilities. Mm-hmm. I was banished there. I had to survive. It was survival, bro. Yeah. So those two characters, yes, would have bumped heads, but you make a great point. Green Arrow would have had the know-how to humble Batman, to let him know, like, yo, I understand what you're going through. You lost a partner. I done lost so many people. I understand what you're going through, but killing is not going to fill that void.
Yeah.
I spent my entire first season murdering people. Like, when I first saw Arrow, I was like, yo, it's a CW show. He killing people? Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, you have failed the city.
Dead. When I told people go check out Green Arrow, they was like, oh, Green Arrow. And again, that's why I love the forefront of how they put these shows together and brought it to the people, because a lot of people used to be like, oh, but Green Arrow's it's not better than Daredevil. Daredevil on Netflix is better. I'm like, I get that. You're right. Daredevil on Netflix is a better overall show, but Green Arrow was the one that put that on the map.
Yeah.
Green Arrow literally is killing people on primetime television, and he's supposed to be a superhero. So let that part just sink in first before you start telling me how good a big budget production is for a TV show that's going to be 10 episodes compared to somebody has to stretch this into 24 episodes. And he's literally killing people on prime television. I love CW for even making a show, Grant Gustin for being a trooper about it. He even said, like he told, I think it's Entertainment Magazine and a couple of other TV shows and stations, yo, if they call me, if they make that call for anything Flash, matter of fact, anything superhero, I'm there. Like, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? He had no problem playing this character. I've never heard him begrudgingly say, I don't want to do this no more. Like, he loved the character and he understood what it entailed, and he appreciated the character. And that's the reason why I like him, on screen and off screen. He took everything serious. Like, even the little things about the Flash. And I tell people, like, when the Flash runs and when Grant Gustin would stop, he would shake. Like, he would do like this slide, like to make it look like he's stopping himself from keep going, where the regular person would just stop. Like, nah, bro. Like, he had his own little thing going, and that's his little twist that he adds to the character to make it more official. Unlike Ezra Miller, who wants to sit here and he's sitting there throwing his arms around and wiggling his hips and like, bro, you ain't got to be that extra.
To the character,
huh?
He's adding elegance to the character.
The Flash just runs. The Flash is not a person that needs a startup. Like, and I've seen in the movie trailer, like he does like this pose. Like, remember when at the end when he raised Superman and he put his like, I get it for like a track. You know how they get on their knees and they do that ready, set, go. It's like I get it with aerodynamics.
Right.
You're the Flash.
Yeah.
You move fast. You don't need a head to get into a certain position to move faster. That's like me trying to race him. I would have to do. Hold on, let me make sure that I'm angled a certain. My shoulders. It's a whole thing that deals with running, stride. Yeah. Ask anybody that does track. Why they run faster than everybody, because they don't. The way they run is not the way me and you would run. You know what I'm saying? They have a certain way that they run to pace themselves. Me and you are just gonna run because we have no track running training. They do. So he tries to make the character Flash as if he was a track and field star.
Right.
As if getting into this pose right here is gonna make me. I'm gonna put my hand behind my back and my hand this way.
It's a weird pose too. It's a really weird pose.
The new one, he's on his tippy toes. He's on some. Listen, whatever, bro. I'm just saying, the TV show pays great tribute to the character, and it may not be 100%, but that's why I call it the CW version of the Flash. And I understand that there's a multiverse. I understand that there's different versions of different characters. So I'm able to appreciate the show and the character for what it is and for the job they've done. For the last episode, I don't think they did them justice or the show justice. I do think the overall season 9 and parts of season 8, they started to do a hell of a job with the show, and it's unfortunate that they had to end it because I guess they wanted to say, look, let's end it now before we mess it up even more. But just to have the show, I appreciate them for having it and bringing to light to everyone else that everyone sees what I saw when I was about 5 years old. So I thank the CW for that. Right. And just before we end, I got this last caveat is the characters without Cisco and Frost, Caitlin, Barry's older sister, and brother kind of figures to him. He never really had that. He never had it. Barry's the only child. So he didn't have brothers and sisters. So those people were always looking out for him like a family and always had his well-being in mind. Was great for the character. Another thing that was great for the character was Iris. Iris was great. Her lightning rod to the character, always able to bring him around and ground him. The only cringeworthy thing that they did with her was they tried to incorporate that when she said, you're not the Flash, Barry. We're the Flash. And fans were like, no, he's the Flash. You Iris West. You cut that out. Okay? Because
I can understand that sentiment. I can understand that sentiment.
I mean, of course.
It's not the worst thing in the world. Like, I can understand.
No, because it was cringy the way they did it, because it was like he did all the work, and now, like, for example, when there was a time that she became Team Flash leader. And mind you, they fought a whole season fighting Reverse Flash. She comes along in like season 2 or 3, and now she's the leader of Team Flash, literally. And it's like, what? For example, Cisco brings in science. So does Caitlin. So does Wells. What does Iris bring? We're fighting a metahuman whose powers is that he can snap his fingers and a volcano can happen. But they know how they know how to go, okay, well, if he does that, what we need to do is figure out the momentum of X, Y, and Z. What is she going to do? She's going to be like,
no, you got to understand. She brings what currently rules the world. She brings journalism. Journalism.
Anyway, she was the love interest to Barry. And that's what you need. That's what she brought to the table. She brought love in a place where while he's running around getting his ass whooped every episode, is that she brings the stability to his life that he's well needed. And that moves on to Joe West. Joe West kept him grounded. The Jiminy Cricket to his Pinocchio.
He was a fantastic character.
Yes, the person who kept I do too. The person who kept him grounded without Joe's guidance, you know, and Barry being brought up in that home around Joe as a police officer, like I said, he wouldn't have been the well-rounded superhero that he is and had the morals to be the Flash.
And I don't think they could have chosen a better actor for that role.
No, he did I loved him as Joe. Loved him as Joe. I love Iris as I love Candace Patton as Iris because I love Candace Patton. You know, so to have Joe be, like I said, the Jiminy Cricket, that voice of reasoning that Barry needed all the time, did a great job. Another person I gotta take my hat off to is Tom Cavanaugh. Played so many different characters in the Flash TV show. He was Harry Wells, he was H.R. Wells, he was every Wells there was. And he played the Reverse Flash, you know, on different cases with the other guy, you know, and he literally carried the show on his back, trying to help, you know, Grant Gustin and the Flash character overall. Again, last but not least, Grant Gustin for taking the role, being the role, accepting the role, taking it serious. That's the one thing I think anybody wants for their favorite superhero is to be treated like, you know, that's the, you know, this is me. I'm gonna embody this character. Like, who's your favorite superhero? I would assume it's Batman.
Of course.
Okay.
We relate so much.
All right. So you would want the actor who plays that character to embody what Batman is, from what you've read in the comic books, from what you've known to be Batman. And it may not be 100%, but as long as he ticks the boxes that says that's Batman, you go, that's Batman. I don't see that with Ezra Miller. I see that with Grant Gustin. Like, he takes the character serious. For Ezra Miller, this is just a paycheck. This is a paycheck. You know, and I don't know if they didn't, and maybe he's acting that way because nobody gave him direction, but you could tell they gave Grant direction, and you could tell Grant took the source material to heart and said, this is what I'm gonna do. This guy didn't do that, because if he did, he would go to God and say, you know, I've been reading some Flash comic books, and I don't think that's what the character would do. According, you know, he wouldn't be throwing his hands around and shimmering his hips while he's running. I've never seen him do that in the comic books. I've never seen him do X, Y, and Z. I think he would act like this. I don't know what source material they're giving this guy, but my hats goes off to Grant Gustin for staying true to the character, bringing the character to life, and again to CW for putting this out to everyone in the world to see, again, what I saw when I was a kid. The show's been on for 9 seasons. Not all of them were great seasons. I got somewhat semi-viral off the Savitar videos, and this would put me on YouTube. It really what kept me going on YouTube. So I love the TV show. It was my character. And it was funny because my favorite character got me to do the thing that I wanted to do, which is be here on media and stuff like that, which is, you know, chase your dreams and never stop running for it. That's the Flash.